Hi there. Welcome to my weekly live stream. Thanks so much for being here. I usually wait a minute or so the Facebook algorithm can kick in and people can jump on the live stream. So today I want to talk a little bit about the orienting response and how you can access it and utilize it to help to diminish anxiety. This morning I just got an email from 2 different yoga studios, and I'm assuming I'm going to get more of those emails soon, that are saying things like, it's safe to come to class, we don't have coronavirus here, please come and join us for yoga. And you know, this is a big issue for yoga teachers, because yoga teachers often depend on teaching classes. Many of them are making a living teaching classes, and you're going to teach classes and people aren't coming because they're afraid to come to your classes. It could be an issue, you know. So one of the things you can certainly do is offer things like Facebook live streams and ask people to join you. You can offer YouTube videos. It's kind of easy to do with your phone. Like, I'm not even using a mic right now. I'm just using the phone from my phone and the mic on my phone. You know, I do a lot of stuff. I've been doing a lot of stuff online for many, many years, but a lot of people don't. A lot of people go to studios. So while we're in this kind of difficult time, I think it's also important to remember some of our yogic skills for calming down the nervous system, calming down anxiety, because that doesn't help us support our immune system either, right, if we're anxious. Thank you for being here. If you're here, if you could please just say, hi, I'm here, or leave a question, that would be great. Okay, so I wanted to talk a little bit about something that's called the orienting response. And this is a response that actually emanates from your brainstem, from some structures in your brainstem called the superior colliculi and the periaqueductal gray. These are areas in the brainstem. So remember, the brainstem, it's kind of connected to your spinal cord, actually. It comes up into the middle of your brain, and then out of your brainstem, then you get the cortex on, you know, on top of the midbrain, essentially, if this was your brainstem, right? So brainstem is operates quite below the level of consciousness, right? It's not, we can access it with the front brain and with consciousness. However, it prompts or promotes behaviors that are often habitual, intrinsic, and not necessarily conscious. And you know, neuroscientists say, I've heard different numbers, 85 to 90% of our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors tend to be intrinsic. That means we're not like consciously thinking them. They're coming from these unconscious processes. And that is certainly true when we talk about the orienting response. So what is the orienting response? So first we have to talk about babies to get to it. So when a baby is born, a baby starts to learn how to orient towards different things. And you know what that's about. We orient towards the pleasant, and we orient away from the uncomfortable, the unpleasant, right? So there's a sort of, although we start with the orienting towards the unpleasant and then we go away from it, right? So orienting is like, what is capturing our attention, and then how do we choose to behave based on it? Now, the orienting response, as I said, starts in the brainstem, and then it's going to activate motor neurons, muscles in the neck and the shoulders, right? So because we're going to orient towards something, right? We hear a loud noise and you go, boom. And that's often, there's not a feeling or an affect or any kind of thought. It's very, very survival brain stuff. We orient towards something, right? And then we see it, then we make the evaluation safe or unsafe, and then that will dictate the behavior. So how do you work with the orienting response in yoga? And why is that a good thing to do? So when you orient towards something and there is no danger, rather there's a sense of safety or a sense of pleasure, that actually lets the nervous system, the autonomic nervous system, let down a little bit. So we're not so like freaked out all the time, right? So if you've got news on 24/7 and you're listening to the radio when you're driving around and it's just coronavirus everywhere. You know, you're just going to be assaulted by it. And so the nervous system is going to key up from that. So how can we help people let the nervous system down? Now this is for you, but it's also for you to share with your students. I want to show you a couple of very simple things you can do. So first of all, one of my favorite things to do is just sitting tall, starting with eyes open, looking around the room slowly. And now you can do this with breath. You can do inhale to neutral, and then exhale to the other side. And inhale to neutral, and exhale to the other side. Now, what it might seem like we're doing is just regular neck stretches, right? But there's much more going on because we have the eyes open. We're looking at the colors and the shapes, what's far away, what's close. Hopefully they're seeing a smile on your face, which activates their social engagement system, or just some nodding, right? And what that's doing is helping the nervous system to go, everything's good, everything's fine. So think about like in our evolutionary past, an animal, like any kind of animal out on the savannah, looking out over the scene and just assessing, am I safe? Or it could be a Neanderthal person, right, with their staff, I'm imagining, and wearing their animal skins, and they're looking out over the scene and they're assessing, is everything cool? Is everything safe? This is essentially, you can think about this movement with the eyes open, of course, as essentially a kind of your watchtower, you know, like everything's cool. And as I look around and find everything looks great, everything's safe, I'm sending those unconscious messages into my nervous system, into my body, that are saying, cool, we can calm things down. We can calm things down. So that's the first one, but I want to show you a second one that's building on the same theme. And actually, this is an exercise I learned from my Feldenkrais teachers. However, it's very much connected to this information we have about the brainstem and the orienting response, and that work that's been developed by someone named Frank Corrigan, who actually helped Stephen Porges develop certain aspects of polyvagal theory. And so what we're going to do here is take the right hand and place it on your forehead, and then take your left hand and place it on the back of your neck. And keeping the hands kind of glued to the forehead, start turning your head to the right with both hands. See if you can do that with both hands equally. Turning your head slowly to the right, not as far as you can go, it's just slowly. And then turning your head slowly to the left. And now as my head turns to the left, my elbows are going to come closer. And as my head turns towards the right, my elbows are going to go farther away. Now you can do this in a number of different ways. I'm just showing you the kind of the basics, which is my hand stays on my forehead and the back, and my left hand on the back of my neck, and I'm just slowly turning my head side to side. You're welcome here. So we did this intentionally. We did this one first with the eyes open, right? But you're welcome here to close your eyes and just tune into sensations, particularly the sensations in the back of the neck, particularly in the back of the neck. Now, after you've done that a few times, 3 or 4 times, then you want to let the hands rest and take a breath. And then, of course, you want to do it the other way, right? Left hand on forehead, right hand behind. And first turning your head to the left as the elbows move apart, and then turning your head to the right as the elbows come a little towards each other. And, you know, you don't want to create any extra tension in your shoulders here. It's really just a slow, mindful movement. Now, you can take that exercise and you can come to supine. I hope you can still see me. You can come to supine, and then you can do it all over again. Moving my head to, you know, I've got my right hand on top, moving my head to the right and then to my left. And then I could switch hands and do it several times. First moving left as the elbows come apart, then moving right as the elbows come towards each other, right? That kind of slow mindful movement. So you can transfer it. You can do it from seated. You can do it from lying on your back. You could do it standing up, of course. But I started with the orienting response and sitting very intentionally, because I wanted to put the nervous system into that kind of take things down, and I'm doing this under the level of consciousness. And then, okay, things are a little bit down. Now I can go a little bit further inside into that interoceptive awareness, but I'm still activating the orienting response here. And I'm flooding the nervous system with signals of everything is okay. Because, gosh, we're not in that place right now. You know, we're really in dealing with a lot of tension, a lot of stress that's being bombarded with us. I don't know, I know some of you don't live in the States, but if you're in the United States, you know what we're dealing with right now. So I hope those are two things. There's lots more, of course, and I teach lots more of this stuff in my courses. And you know what? Today I'll make sure that on this live stream I put the link in here in the comments for my free class that's on YouTube. That's all about balancing your brain using yoga practices. I hope this has been helpful for you. I'm just going to see if there's any questions. I don't see any questions, but I see a lot of hi, I'm here. Thank you all for being here. I hope you're staying safe. I hope you're washing your hands a lot. You can also scrape your tongue and gargle and wash out the inside of your nose. And I'm using, I have been using a lot of spray aromatherapy, Thieves, although I know some people say that's not going to do anything for the coronavirus, but you know, it makes me feel a little better. So thank you all for being here. I really appreciate it. And I will be back next week and we'll see what next week brings. But in the meanwhile, the work that you can do in helping people to bring their nervous system into some kind of homeodynamic balance during this kind of, you know, scary time, you're doing a great, great service. So thank you for being out there. Thank you for working with your students. And yeah, let me know how, try these techniques. Let me know how it works, okay? Thank you. Namaste.